Physically, maybe no, not according to, society standards with working out and all that kind of thing. But I like to think of being healthy as I take my meds regularly. Spiritually, I'm there. Emotionally, I'm okay. Those are the kind of things that I kind of like to correlate with being healthy and happy and whole, because those are the things that are substantial, I think. Yeah. So I consider myself a little healthy. There's always ways that I can be more healthy, and I want to make that very clear. There's always ways that you can be more healthy. Yeah.
All right. So why don't we talk about your book a little bit?
Yeah.
Could you tell us what's the name of your book?
The name is Positively Beautiful, and it's a book of affirmations, advocacy, and advice.
And what prompted you to write it?
I think that I was just tired of seeing things on the shelves that did not reflect me and my society and my demo. I remember going to a bookstore in Atlanta on Georgia Tech's campus, and I asked the guy, I said, I need to do a report. I was just making it up, but I need to do a report about HIV and AIDS in the Black community. There was not one book in there that looked like me at all. There was not one book on the shelf that I could pick up and read and say, I can identify with this. And that's when I knew that I had to do something. I don't consider myself a writer, so I think that's what separates me a little bit from other people. I literally just wrote what I felt, and I wrote it from my heart. So I think that's why it resonates with a lot of people that are going through what I've gone through, because they see myself in what I wrote. I mean, they see themselves in what I wrote. And I needed to fill that void, and I needed to make it exciting. I'm so sick of going to discussion groups, and I'm sick of going to panels and seeing the same people on the panels not talking in layman's terms. Hell, I've had the disease for 6 years, and some of the words that they say I don't understand or know how to spell. So I think that there was a disconnect. There needed to be something out there for people that were just like me, ages 18 to 29, that needed to see their skin tone in a book. And I just took it upon myself to write it, and I did.
What has writing the book taught you?
It taught me how to be patient. Because, dude, I wanted to get the book out in 6 months top. I thought, and even like I said before, I didn't even put myself in the book originally. I decided to profile 10 young Black gay men in Atlanta, all who were openly HIV positive, but I decided to take myself out of that equation because I hadn't told the most important people around me, like my mother, like my friends, basically the world. And that's why I think that it's great to have great friends around you, and honest friends that will call you out on your bullshit. And the guy that did my graphics, his name is Chris Barker, and he was just like, yo, I'm not going to do your book if you don't put yourself in the book. And I had to think about that, like, okay, all right, if I'm writing a book about being positively beautiful and loving yourself and being whole and being okay with this disease, then I need to put myself in the equation. But it forced me to deal with things that I obviously hadn't dealt with. So 6 months turned into a year. So it took me about a year to actually do the whole book.
In your book,
Yeah.
I think you have a really good quote that I really liked.
Okay.
It was, I've never lost my laughter.
Yeah.
I choose to laugh in the face of adversity. I get weary and I weep, but never for too long. Could you maybe talk a little bit about this quote and what it means to you?
Yeah, I put that quote in there to humanize the disease a little bit. Sometimes I think when people talk about HIV or talk about AIDS, they are removed from it. And I think that sometimes the audience, they look at these activists and these advocates on the front line of the disease and they think that, oh, they made it. They're at the plateau. Like, they don't suffer. They don't go through things. That's completely opposite. I get depressed. I have self-doubt. I sometimes walk around like I have the scarlet letter on me, but that's okay. That's human. You will have those days. And I think that, piggybacking to what's in the book, I make it I don't know, I make it very clear that you will have these days, but it's okay. You will be okay. You're supposed to have those days. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like to tell people this is who I was before I was diagnosed with HIV, and this is who I'm going to be after being diagnosed with HIV. HIV doesn't stop anything that I'm doing. It actually has helped me in a lot of ways. I'm actually kind of thankful in a very weird way for actually getting this disease, because it kind of put my life into perspective a little bit.
Talk about that.
I don't know, before I was diagnosed, I was just this lost little boy in fashion school. I wanted to be a stylist. I just knew I moved to LA, I knew I was gonna be a stylist and an actor. And getting this diagnosis, I don't know, it just made me realize what I wanted to do with my life. And that was tell this story simply and help other people that may not have a voice. I'm all about empowering. And I know a lot of people say that they want to empower people, but that's exactly what I want to do. You don't have to pay me to speak. You don't have to pay me to come to your town and talk about it. I think it's my duty to talk to people that don't have a voice. So it actually gave me a lot to be thankful for. And it kind of, when I say it put my life into perspective, it just made me realize that there was something bigger than me out there that I needed to be a part of. Damn, that was good. I didn't even know that. That was good stuff. No, but see, honestly, that's exactly what it did for me.